It's time for The Drive with Q on Sports Radio 102.9 FM The Game. Now, here's Q.
Good afternoon, everyone. 5 o'clock straight up on the East Coast. It is indeed a What the Freak Football Friday edition of The Drive with Q. I'm your host, as always, Rich Quinones, coming at you live inside the friendly confines of the Sports Radio 102.9 FM studios. Angel Martinez, mi hermano behind the glass, producing the show, keeping us on the air. 60 plus minutes to play with as we are coming at you. Part of the Coastal Sports Network, brought to you by and powered by our good friends over at Zen Auto Concepts, and of course, Play It Again Sports. And when we do our picks, fresh roasted coffee, as always, don't forget the 727-858-6650. That'll get you involved into a sports talk. Bring something to the table. NFL, the refs again in cahoots with the league. I mean, we'll get into what transpired last night, Thursday Night Football. Rough loss if you are a Minnesota Vikings fan, not if you took the over in that game like yours truly did, sitting at 48.5, got a little dicey, but the Rams win it 30-20. We'll get into some of the horrible officiating already. Week 8, can you believe it? Week 8 in the NFL. Unbelievable how fast the season flies by in the National Football League. And then, of course, the Fall Classic. Game 1 tonight, my Yankees taking on the Dodgers. Yankees in a plus 105, Dodgers minus 125. Total for the runs over 8.5. And I got a lot of thoughts on the World Series. I think it's going to be an absolutely epic World Series. I can't recall the star power that we will see tonight and going forward. And hopefully this is a long series. I mean, for me, I would love to see the Yankees win in 5-6. 7 would be dramatic. I think this is going to be a hell of a series, but the star power, you have 2 major markets, you have 2 exceptional franchises, you have 2 historic franchises. Obviously, the Dodgers will be playing with heavy hearts with the passing of one Fernando Valenzuela. The Yankees trying to win their 28th World Series championship. And as I mentioned, whether it's Ohtani and Judge, or you can actually take a step back and say, well, wait a second, maybe I'll give you Betts and I'll give you Soto. I mean, it doesn't matter. Hell, you can even take it a step further and I can give you, other players, and I can throw in a guy like Stanton. I mean, that's where we're at right now in this series. I mean, you're talking about 2 great franchises, and the Yankees, again, you're talking about, just great players left and right all over the place. I mean, and that's what makes it very unique. And I'll tell you what, I don't know why I'm hearing myself right now. But anyway, that's what makes it so unique in this series right now. Top to bottom, if you look at these rosters and if you look at the pitching matchups and you look at, again, I think the Yankees, the way I look at it, I believe the Yankees are going to have to win game 1. I think the Yankees are going to have to figure out a way to win game 1, and it's going to have to be the heart and the meat of their lineup that does the most damage. As I just mentioned, you think about it, top to bottom, from Chisholm to Stanton to Torres to Wells to Soto to Judge. I mean, it is a potent lineup. But again, not to underscore the fact that the Los Angeles Dodgers were running away with the NL West early on in the season. I mean, they were just had a great 2-3 month stretch, but then they started to come back down to earth a little bit. But now we've got an opportunity where you're going to get to see Shohei Ohtani. You'll get to see Mookie Betts. You'll get to see Edman. You'll get to see some of these players and that, Muncy and that great rotation. I think it's going to be a hell of a series. I'll give you my thoughts on game 1. I think it's imperative. It's an important opportunity for the Yankees to, again, capture game 1 on the road. So that'll be first pitch, 8:06. Now, earlier today, I did a spot with Back Your Play. The prop Professor Shine joined me. I'll post that up on the YouTube channel, Rich Q on Q, before game 1, so you can get some thoughts. But I do want to start with the NFL. And last night, another example in the NFL of why there's just issues when it comes to the officiating, and why the NFL at this stage of the game, we don't even need to care. We don't even should worry about pool reports. because they mean nothing. I mean, how in the world do you miss a blatant face mask? Now, there's no guarantee that the Minnesota Vikings were going to have an opportunity to, obviously they keep the drive alive, but who says that they were going to have an opportunity to go right down the field with about a buck something left, score a touchdown, and oh, by the way, get a 2-point conversion, try to knot it up and force it into overtime. But the issue is that when you have it consistently poor, consistently bad, that's a problem. And I'm not even talking about from a gambling or betting standpoint. I'm not. What I'm saying is you've got these referees right there, the line of vision. I mean, again, do you forget what a face mask penalty is? It was it was a blatant one. And you had the defensive player put his hands on his helmet like, oh, crap, I know exactly what I did. I mean, that kind of tells you he wasn't even going to protest a potential call. But the other issue I have with the NFL officiating, which we can talk about it till we're blue in the face, you cannot allow these games to be, I guess you can say, the outcome of these games consistently and constantly decided on a flag being thrown or a flag being picked up or a flag not being thrown. And how many times do we see when we watch these games consistently, when we watch these games, that you got a third down play? No, there's no flag. All right, fresh set of downs. Or you get them off the field at 3rd and 16, and then you have hands to the face. 5-yard penalty, automatic first down. What's the point of being able to go to New York and check in with New York if they're not going to utilize it? I mean, when you have the announcers even come up, Al Michaels last night saying, Vikings fans wondering what the hell. It's just a bad look for the NFL. It's a bad look. And again, they haven't had to deal with a lot of bad officiating controversies yet this season. We argue the roughing the passer, but last night you got a $1:36 left to play in the fourth quarter. Minnesota's trailing 28-20. Now, if you're sitting there and you're playing the over at 48.5, you're like, all right, I need a miracle. You got the ball in the 5. You got a chance to drive down, score, game-tying touchdown. 2nd and 10, Darnold gets sacked in the end zone. It's so blatant. It was so obvious. No flag was thrown. You get the safety, boom, you hit the juice, and we're sitting at 50. So you put a little coin in the pocket. But ultimately, you can't have these calls that are so blatant missed. And the NFL doesn't fix it. The NFL never fixes it. And we're constantly dealing with the officiating. And I don't want to hear this. Well, again, you need a touchdown. You got to go 90 yards, no timeouts, 2 minutes. I don't give a rat's ass. I don't need to hear from the analytics guys, right? I mean, Mike Sando, ESPN, shut up. I mean, I don't care if their chances of winning are slim. Do you remember the Minneapolis Miracle? Stranger things have happened. So if that's your argument, you're almost defending how bad the calls are. So we'll get your thoughts on that. It's always been like that. The officiating, I can go back to the 80s and the early 90s. I mean, hell, I still can't believe the penalty that was thrown against the Giants in the 89 wildcard game, pass interference against the Rams. Ultimately, they win it 19-13 in overtime with Flipper Anderson still running through the tunnel. I mean, officiating in the NFL has been bad for years. But I posted this on X, and I want to get your guys' thoughts on this. I tweeted out, again, what team or teams, again, do you believe have an opportunity now to kind of reset the table, to jump start their season, in essence, turn their season around? And I pinpointed 3 teams. Obviously, we saw what transpired last night with the Rams. So you have to put the Rams into the mix. Then you have the Miami Dolphins, who are walking back Tua. And then you have Cincinnati. I think those are the 3 teams, to be quite honest, that have the best shot at turning their seasons around. And I also believe that this weekend, this is where we will see now, coming up, the teams that we thought were going to be pretenders, are they contenders? And the teams that we thought were contenders, are they going to slide back a little bit? Injuries are mounting up in the NFL. Quarterbacks are going down left and right. And that's why I always say, too, especially like for Washington, right? Now they're kind of pushing, pressing for Daniels to be ready on Sunday. Watch if the line moves a little bit, closing line up until kickoff. That's something to monitor. But this is a big time Sunday coming up in the NFL. It really is, because Tua's coming back. Is it too late for the Miami Dolphins? Can they right the ship? You always got to expect that the quarterback's going to be a little rusty. Remember, too, this always goes unnoticed when we're talking about players that get concussed. They're not allowed to run. They can't do any type of cardio. So you always have to factor that in, right? The reps, the rust, the conditioning leading up to these games. Obviously, a couple of the marquee games, Eagles on the road, Cincinnati. Cincinnati's laying 2.5. Total is 47.5. The Eagles are dealing with a bunch of injuries, but they feel pretty good. They won 2 straight, 3 of 4. They're coming off the win against the Giants. We know they can run the football. We also know that Cincinnati can put up a lot of points. This is a big game for both these teams, right? Because if you're the Eagles, you beat up on 2 bad teams. Cleveland's a bad football team. The Giants are a bad football team. Cincinnati is not as poor as their record indicates. And I believe, and I said this a couple weeks ago, Cincinnati now, they're winless at home, but they're picking up a little momentum. Now, they beat the Giants and they beat the Browns. Well, to be fair, so did the Eagles. So I don't know how much stock we're going to put in that. If I say those 2 teams are bad and I'm going to discredit the Eagles, all I'm saying is Cincinnati's not as bad as the team. How the hell did they lose to the Patriots in week 1? I don't know. Cincinnati's got an opportunity to jumpstart their season. And then if you stick in the AFC North, Cleveland's going to go to Jameis Winston. They're going to take on Baltimore. So that's an interesting game, which we will also highlight. A couple of the other games I really want to get into on this Friday that I think are going to be just interesting, to say the least. The Jets right now, they are clinging to dear life, and they're taking on a really bad Patriots team. Now, if you listen to me in August and prior to the season, I went on the record. I felt the Eagles were not going to make the playoffs, and I didn't like their win total. And I was adamant saying that the Jets were not going to make the playoffs, and I love them for their win total under. And right now they're 2-5. I mean, think about this for a moment. The Jets are 2-5. They lost to Denver, Minnesota, Buffalo, and they didn't even show up against the Steelers. Imagine what the hell's going to happen if they lose to New England on Sunday. All bets are off. And I don't believe Aaron Rodgers. I think this is it for Aaron Rodgers. I believe this next month or two, I don't feel as Aaron Rodgers is going to last the NFL season. And I also think that Aaron Rodgers is pretty much going to call it an end of a day after this season. There's no scenario. They're not going on a run. The Jets are done. They're not going on any run whatsoever. Because after the Patriots, they got the Texans. They got a very, an anemic at times, tough to figure out Cardinals team. The Colts might be tricky. Seattle's not a bad team. Tua, maybe Miami rips off a couple wins and they feel they can get a wild card. The Jets aren't going anywhere. But that game is interesting to watch because I believe Mayo's job's on the line in New England. And I believe that when a head coach comes out, first-year head coach, and he calls his team soft, he better be able to back it up. They better be able to back it up with a solid effort. So you got the Patriots and the Jets. You got Tampa Bay and Atlanta for you fans tuning in Southwest Florida. The Bucs got humbled last time out. I think it's safe to say that even though they only lost by 10, that game was not relatively close. Baker had to sling it too many times. We saw bad Baker, right? But I think a lot of people are wondering, where's Tampa Bay at? Where is this team at right now? Are they that team that was red hot or started to come back down to earth a little bit? You got the Packers. I think they're a contender. The Texans, I believe they're a contender. The Bills, quietly, Buffalo is 5-2. They got to go on the road in a tough spot in Seattle. So these matchups are really interesting. Kansas City, the Bears and Washington. And then you got the Sunday night game. You got a banged up San Francisco team. I was hearing some people say, and the 49er fan is not going to like this. Now, it's not coming out of my mouth. I'm basically regurgitating what I heard. But there seems to be this sentiment among other talking heads that Brock Purdy is basically Daniel Jones. And I'm like, whoa, 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 whoa. Stop. That is such a disservice to Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy has not played well this year. He has not. He's been sacked a bunch of times. He's turned the football over way too many times. I mean, it's not Brock Purdy-ish, right? It isn't. He had 11 picks all last season. He's already got 7. That's not good. He threw 31 touchdown passes. He's on pace to throw 18. Not good. Not going to get it done. But that is a banged up 49er team, right? You lose Ayuk. You got Kittle's banged up. You know, McCaffrey, there's issues. Purdy's inconsistent. Now you're dealing with Debo. This might be the game where if the Dallas Cowboys can figure out a way or find a way to beat San Francisco, that might be it for the 49ers, man. I mean, you want to talk about an early season knockout punch for a team that many people predicted to run roughshod not only through the NFC West, but also through the NFC. Dallas has a really good opportunity here of really just a body shot to the 49ers, because the 49ers have Tampa, Seattle, and Green Bay coming up, and Buffalo. So if you're a 49er fan, man, you better get it together real fast. And if you're a Cowboys fan, and I don't believe the Cowboys are going to have a solid season, now they can give their fan base a little hope with a win, but I still maintain Washington's winning that division. But if you're a Cowboys fan, you can kind of right the ship, right? You had the bad loss against Detroit, coming off a bye, well rested, which kind of leads me to this. There are teams right now in the NFL where we're waiting to see the other shoe to drop with the head coach. We all believe this head coach in Dallas, the head coach in Vegas, the head coach in Jacksonville, the head coach with the Giants. They don't start winning some ball games, are they going to be out of a job sooner rather than later? And I've kind of gone back and I've wrestled with this. The Dallas Cowboys, if they beat the 49ers, they've got the Falcons coming up. They can still have a relevant season. But I know this talk of, hey, they're going to get rid of Mike McCarthy. The more I think about it, I'm not so sure that the Dallas Cowboys are going to move on from Mike McCarthy after the season, which now takes it to another direction. How many teams right now in the NFL would you guys out there say are viable landing spots? Meaning, if you're a head coach looking for a gig, if you are fired and there's a job vacancy, spots, cities, teams, franchises that would be appealing to you. So let's just run through the gamut for a moment. Let's just put the Giants to the back burner because Merrick came out and it sounded like he's supporting Brian Daboll and Joe Schoen, and that's good. You come out, you nip it in the bud right away. Okay. Jacksonville, Doug Peterson. Jacksonville, more viable option than, say, the Dallas Cowboys. Let's say Dallas gets rid of Mike McCarthy. I'm trying to think. Cleveland, they might be looking for a new head coach. Maybe Mayo's one and done in New England. We don't know what's going to happen in Vegas with Antonio Pierce. The Jets will need a new head coach. Nothing's going to change in Buffalo or Miami. Nothing's changing in Baltimore. Nothing's changing in Pittsburgh. Cincinnati, let it play out. Nothing's changing in the Texans. Nothing's changing with the Colts. Tennessee, we can kind of keep going down. The reason I bring this up is because if I'm a coach and I have an opportunity to get back in the NFL, or if I was fired or there's going to be a vacancy, do you guys really believe that the Dallas Cowboys, America's team, the star, the Dallas Cowboys, do you think that's a sexy job? Do you guys sit there and say, yeah, man, if I have an opportunity to be a head coach, I want to be a head coach of the Dallas Cowboys? I got news for you. That's not a sexy job. That's not an appealing job. And I don't think a lot of teams out there or a lot of players or a lot of potential head coaches sit there and say, I want to go coach the Dallas Cowboys. I'm just not seeing it. Why? Because you got a meddlesome owner. That's the problem. So some of these other jobs, if they get rid of their coaches, might fill up quicker than, say, the Dallas Cowboys turning around and getting rid of Mike McCarthy. And I'm still not sure 100% that they're going to do that. But this is not the Dallas Cowboys have won 5 playoff games since 1995. They haven't won a Super Bowl since 95. To me, they're not a viable option anymore. They're just not. I don't look at the Dallas Cowboys and say, hey, man, this is a sexy spot to be. I don't, because of the owner. The owner's only concerned about one thing, and that's putting money in his pocket. He's pretty much made it clear by the offseason moves, bringing back Elliott. I mean, that franchise is in disarray right now, and if they get rid of Mike McCarthy, I'm not so sure that you have coaching candidates banging down the door saying, Jerry, hire me, hire me. You got a meddlesome owner. You always know that hair trigger, you're a couple losses away from getting fired. The owner's the GM. He's going to make the calls. You're not going to have autonomy. You're not going to have any type of power. There's always going to be that power struggle if you're the Dallas Cowboys head coach. You take that gig over Jacksonville, the Raiders, the Giants, I'm trying to think who else, the Bears, even though the Bears are playing good football, their coach isn't going anywhere. So we'll get your thoughts on that, 727-858-6650. We'll take you up to 6 o'clock. We'll go through the games. I'll give you my picks, Q's picks at 5:45 from our good friends over at Fresh Roasted Coffee. World Series Game 1 tonight, Yankees and the Dodgers. I believe this series, we haven't seen this type of star power, I would say, since the mid-90s. When it comes to World Series. And give me your thoughts. How do you see this series breaking down? Also, if you guys got some plays for the weekend in college or the pros, I want to hear from them. I also want to get into a little NBA, even though the season has just tipped off. A couple more thoughts on the 76ers and a couple more thoughts on the Lakers and Bronny James. And I'll tell you, if you watched any of the games last night, I mean, the NBA, it was a light night in the NBA, but I flipped through the Thunder, the Nuggets, obviously Joker kind of have an off night, the Spurs and the Mavericks, Luka and Wembley, they were kind of going back and forth. So we'll get into a little bit of the NBA. We'll get your thoughts as well, 727-858-6650. But as I mentioned, top of the hour, give me a team or team that you believe, multiple teams, have an opportunity to right the ship in the NFL. Right? Maybe the first 6-7 weeks, they've struggled a little bit. They can right the ship. They still have time to turn around. I gave you a couple out there, Miami, Cincinnati, and the Rams. And the Rams, if you saw their players last night, healthy team, offense in gear, maybe that's one of the teams. Now, it also, you got to answer the question or ask it first. What about the trade deadline? Because we heard so many players might be moved with some of these teams struggling. Now you pick up a couple wins. Maybe that's not the case. So we'll go through the NFL trade rumor mill as well. All right, 25 past the 5 o'clock hour. Just cranking up on a, what the frig, Football Friday edition of The Drive with Q right here on Sports Radio 102.9 FM, the game part of the Coastal Sports Network. We'll take you up to 6 o'clock straight up. Your texts, your comments on the other side, 727-858-6650.
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting. A teenager. Learning the lingo.
Today I'm going to help parents translate teen slang. Now, when a teen says something is on fleek, it's exactly like saying, that's rad. It simply means that something is awesome or cool. Another one is totes. It's exactly like saying, totally, just shorter. As in, I totes love going to the mall with Becca. Another word you might hear is jelly. Jelly is a shorter, better way to say jealous. As in, Chloe, I am like so jelly of your unicorn phone case.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will think you're, rad just the same. To learn more, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
This is the story of a very special woman. In a matter of seconds, she turned herself into a great mathematician or an entrepreneur. Her knowledge was limitless and still is. She could also make monsters disappear, especially those that lurked in the shadows under the bed. Once, this woman put back together a teenage girl's broken heart, which had been shattered in 1,000 pieces, just by giving her a bear hug. She masqueraded as a regular person at work, but as a superhero at home. Everyone knows her as Gabriella. I still call her Mom.
Your hero needs you now, and AARP is here to help. Find the care guides you need to help, complete with tips and resources at aarp.org/caregiving. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Call or text the show at 727-858-6650. Now, back to Q.
By the way, can you hear her crunching in the background? Look at her go. She is an absolute machine. Well, you know what you can hear the crunching? Just the rustling by Kiki. She's just ripping through it. So I was up at 4:35 this morning. And you can hear the ball, right? 4:35 this morning. Got the workout in, got to work, did a couple of recorded spots earlier or later in the morning. This one's been up, like I said, 4:45-ish, man. So we're talking 4 or 5 walks, a lot of play time. And I was like, all right, I know it's going to happen. Because she, again, used up, she's got so much energy, right? So much energy. I'm like, all right, for a 26, 27-pound friggin' dog, she can eat. And you know this as well as I do. It's like clockwork. Right as soon as we start to teeter towards 6, you just start to hear, the dog being the dog. So I decided, you know what? Let me do this. Because I'm such a loving and caring owner. Now she's going to sit. She's going to plop herself right in front of me. Let me bring the treats up. Let me bring the food up. Let's have it so there's no interruptions as we bring you to 6 o'clock. Man, there's no way that this dog, it just amazes me that this dog's only going to be 25, 26, 27 pounds. It's just, you got to see the build on this dog. It's ridiculous. She got legs. She's got boom, boom, boom. She's got, the low center of gravity. I'm telling you, it's unbelievable. What are we doing again? Why is it always on my YouTube channel? The comments coming in right here. Here we go. What do we got? All right, here we go. So everyone wants to know, where is Angel? Oh, good afternoon, Penguin. Good afternoon. I appreciate it. Everyone wants to know, where is the incredible life dog? Hold on a second. I think the ref was watching Wolf of Wall Street instead of the game. You know what? There are little shots going on as we are that's not a question. Where the hell is it? Angel popped up before, and Angel typically pops up when we bring Angel into the friggin' conversation. That's how it works. And Angel's got a horrible habit. He comments as he fires off on my YouTube channel. Then I get confused because I'm like, who the hell's commenting right now? What's going on, Angel? Yeah,
Oh,
we gotta do the intro.
nothing.
There he is, the incredible shrinking Hermano. Why are you smaller than the graphic to the right?
Well, that's because, and I don't know if it makes it even or does that make it bigger or smaller?
I mean, that's in your bed. So, all right, here I'm gonna throw out. I'm gonna take one for the team, right? Because I get you guys break my balls because I don't want to watch the Giants in real time and waste my friggin' Sundays, right?
Yeah.
And I want to enjoy the weather. Okay, fine. Is it wrong for me if there's a random Thursday night football game on and I want to watch a little TV and not be fixated on the game and maybe watch The Lincoln Lawyer, maybe watch Netflix, maybe watch cartoons with the pup? Do you find that being fraudulent and not being passionate or putting the time into what I do as a career. Is there any issue with that? Because apparently that rubs some people the wrong way. Apparently, in their universe, I need to watch sports 24 friggin' 7, nonstop, which, oh, by the way, you know how much research I do? You know how much I watch? You know how many pods I do during the week? Radio hits, radio shows, writing, broadcast tomorrow in Philly, broadcast in Virginia, broadcast in DC. So I'm not allowed to watch, let's just say, 20 to 30 minutes of, I don't know, Wolf of Wall Street. Which, by the way, Fugazi, that's it's a great scene, right?
Yeah.
6 schnooks are going to be. No, I mean, I'm honest. I'm asking a genuinely honest question. Does it have to be 24/7 sports?
Wrong, sir. Wrong.
Not at all. You don't have to, because that's the whole entire thing. Listen, we do enough research. There's a lot of stuff that we end up doing, obviously, behind the scenes and get prepped for shows and this, that, and the other. And it's, for example, today I'm trying to give some love and support to the Eagles, even though I really didn't want to, but I did it anyways, just to try to send the little, Care Bear hugs or whatever they used to do, that, Care Bear, whatever that thing was they used to do before.
Amazing. It is amazing, though, how 5 to 6 or 4 to 6, how it just turns into Angel Martinez. But go ahead. It's all about you. Go ahead. No, go ahead. Go ahead. No, please finish.
Hey, listen, it was ex-Madman. He thought I wasn't here because he was putting comments up there. And we always wait until...
I'm telling you right now, I might have to limit. Because, we've done it in the past. There are certain that they don't comment anymore. We had to kibosh them. Some of them are drinking Ensure.
Or flipping pigeons. 1 or 2.
Right? We do try to do some good. I feel like that movie's on like every other day too, training day. Did you watch any of the Vikings-Rams game last night or no?
Not at all. Not at all. Now, and not even any kind of defense. I apparently, unless this happened during game time decision, I had no idea that Puka and Coop were coming back at all. So I just figured, Minnesota, at the rate they've been going, it'll be fine. The Rams looked like they were falling apart. So what was the point to really watching the game? And then we just have them flip it over for about, 2 minutes as soon as the USF women's soccer game was over. Then I end up watching the game. I was like, where the hell did Coop and Puka come back? I no clue. But hey, listen, whatever's. Hey.
You mean Cooper Cup?
No, and what's the other one? The Hawaiian.
I am not. Listen, I just want you to pronounce his name. I'm just going to sit back and you pronounce his name because obviously you can't. So go ahead.
Wait. See, now I got to look it up.
No Google. No Google whatsoever. It's Puka Nakua.
That's what I said. Puka Nakua. Yeah. Okay. Sorry. Puka. It's the first name. And can I not say first names anymore? Or is that this?
No. Hold on a second. For years, I couldn't say Antetokounmpo. I called him Giannis.
But that's on you, though. See, if I can't, it's not like any kind of super secret here, but if I can't pronounce the last name or whatever it is, it's the end around, right? Just toss it up. Somebody else grabs it and freaking run with it.
You have to. I mean, I don't know why I could not say Antetokounmpo. And I think I called him when he got drafted, when he first came in the league. I think I called him Giannis or Giannis. Well, wait, it's Giannis. Giannis.
Yeah.
What the hell did I call him? I don't know. I butchered so many friggin' names. I mean, I don't even want to know. I don't want to roll back. I don't even want to check out the tape because it would just be a debacle. But hold on. The point being is, to the commenters heckling, I don't need to watch Thursday Night Prime. I don't have to watch it. I did watch a little bit of it, but I wasn't glued.
And there you go.
All that dog is concerned. There's a new thing she does now.
What's that?
She barks at herself, right?
Yeah.
if she sees her shadow, but then she just spaces off. And I realized something else. I have to keep the TV at a certain volume because the other night I'm watching the Lincoln. Have you watched season 3 of The Lincoln Lawyer? Have you watched The Lincoln Lawyer at all?
Not season 3.
Okay. Fantastic. Fantastical. Ah, great. I mean, it's just a great show. But I realized that she needs to be positioned a certain way that she's comfortable to watch TV, not me. So I find myself in an L shape or sleeping different ways. And it's just, it comes with the territory. Joe D and Summers Point on Facebook chiming in. Q, as someone who claims to be a diehard sports fan, the fact that you did not watch a Thursday night football game does rub me the wrong way. Stop it. It's utterly ridiculous. Jerk. That's utterly ridiculous. What is it? What is that? $1.99.
I don't know. Is there something? Is someone earning money somewhere?
I don't know.
$1.99?
$1.99. What happened? Listen. Do we have a GoFund for this show?
I don't know. I don't have anything up there. Last I checked.
Oh my goodness, that's horrible. Yeah, I really can't answer that for you. You will watch the World Series though.
Yeah, I'll watch it.
All right, yeah.
It's because I have so much dislike for both teams, but if I had to choose one,
The Yankees would have rolled the Phillies. Yankees would have
easily.
Rolled
They did it in 2009. Are you kidding me?
rolled them.
Yeah. 2024, they would have done it again. Would have been
Absolutely, just rolled them.
Yep. But, let's listen, whatever's.
You know why this is a great World Series? Because you get to see star power. Stanton, Soto, Judge, Betts, Ohtani. What more can you ask for?
Okay, here, before even the World Series starts, first pitch a couple hours from now, but does Ohtani come back to pitch next season?
Yes, we already talked about this.
We
talked about this one. Remember when we were debating how much he was going to get paid, and your whole argument was, why are you paying him that? Because he's not going to pitch.
Right.
He's going to pitch.
Okay. I got a funny feeling his agent's is going to tell him, you know what? Maybe just stay as a DH.
Well, listen, he's still a generational player, is he not?
Right.
I mean,
yeah.
I would say right now, if you were a betting man, are you more inclined to say Aaron Judge would win World Series MVP or Shohei Ohtani will be World Series MVP?
Ooh, man, that's a tough one.
Because it's really rare if we sit there and give a World Series MVP to obviously a player that lost.
Okay, what did Aaron Judge finish up for the regular season as far as home runs? Was he?
Oh, I mean, he was lead leader in pretty much every friggin' category. I mean, close to another, triple crown with his numbers. He had a monster season this year. Aaron Judge actually had a better season. If you really think about it, Ohtani's numbers were off the chart.
Right.
They were off the chart. But Aaron Judge, you can almost make a case. He had a better season than when he won the MVP a couple years ago and he hit 62 home runs. He had 58 home runs this year and drove in $144. He's going to win the MVP. When he won the MVP, he had 62 home runs and only drove in 131. So he's a phenomenal player. But Ohtani, to me, I feel this series, as long as it goes, every at-bat will be a must-watch at-bat when Shohei Ohtani's up. That's what I think.
It has to be. That's a good friggin'. I'd probably have to go with Aaron Judge too. I probably.
Well, then you believe the Yankees are going to win the World Series?
Yeah, no, I believe that. The minute they got the call to go to friggin' once they beat Cleveland, that was it. It was convincing enough. The Yankees, they're on a mission, and they've been quiet. This is not like the Yankees of old, where there was a little braggadocious going on, just a little bit, not a whole bunch. But this has been a very quiet team, a very humble team this season. I don't think I've heard a lot of, look at us. I just think they have slowly gotten back to the World Series since 2009.
Yeah.
And now we're looking to finally get yet another one to put up in the Yankees rafters.
I think if Judge has one of these like A-Rod when he just single-handedly destroyed the Phillies. I mean, he was just locked in every time he was at the plate. If Judge belts 5 home runs and he drives in 12 runs and he bats .333 in the World Series, he's going to be MVP. Now, if they lose and he puts up those numbers, it's really rare. I mean, we might have to double check. I think there's only been one player in baseball history to ever be named World Series MVP, and that's for the team, for the losing team. And that was, I believe it was Bobby Richardson. And that was back in 1960. And the Yankees lost to the Pirates. And if everyone remembers, that's when Bill Mazeroski had the, that home run to win the World Series, that Game 7, Bill Mazeroski. So, Ohtani, man, I'll tell you, it's just going to be fun to watch. I went back, and 727-858-6650, Stan has to be the guy. Listen, he's been locked in too.
He has.
I mean, Stanton, you want to talk about, World Series, dark horses, MVP odds right now. I'll pull them up for you right now. Or it could be Mookie Betts. It could be Mookie Betts. I mean, we don't know. We don't know.
Yeah.
Oh, Mookie Betts is a great player.
He is, but I don't see him going for MVP candidate. Now, unless he has a monster game today, I don't see it.
No, I mean, he could have a monster series.
He could, but it always MVP. Let's get super serious when it comes to the Fall Classic. Most of the time, everybody already knows who the front runner is. Come Game 1 of the World Series, MVP.
But I don't think that's the case this year. Soto, Stanton, Betts, Ohtani, Judge. I don't think that's the case. Unless one of these players has what if Mookie Betts bats .336, drives in 10 runs, and they win in 7, and he's 3 for 4 with the game-winning hit? I mean, you can't say that.
Okay. Well, all right. Here's a question. So we're thinking Judge. Rafi believes it's going to be Stan. So we'll give Rafi. We'll see if he comes back next week, and then we'll see where he's at on the MVP status talk.
But if you're saying the logical choice is Judge or Ohtani, of course, because they're AL and MVP respectively.
Right.
Right. I mean, it's definitely the logical choice. I'll pull up the odds after another commercial break. But all I'm saying is I think Game 1 tonight, I believe if the Yankees win tonight, and I'm not saying it because I'm a Yankees fan, I'm saying with Cole on the hill, if the Yankees win tonight, I believe they win the World Series. They can ill afford. You've got Garrett Cole on the mound. You can't lose tonight. And then you got Rodon coming up, again, who's been a little spotty here and there. And then you got the off day on Sunday. And then the series will shift back to Yankee Stadium on Monday. And the Dodgers, we don't even know who's in line to pitch for Game 3. So I believe it's I don't like to say a must win, but I think Game 1 is going to set the tone. And I have to say that, odds wise, let me pull it up.
The funny thing is, though, like I heard a bunch today, especially like first thing this morning, must have been like 6 a.m. We're like Yankees and in Mustin situation. Like we're over 12 hours and change on first pitch, and you guys are already starting with the Yankees.
Yeah. So I believe Game 1. Yeah, I agree. I do. Ohtani's plus 2,000. I'm sorry, plus 200. Judge is plus 400. Soto's plus 500. Stanton's plus 800. So you bet 10. You win, bet 10 to win. You get 90 total, obviously 8-1, $80, right? On top of your original bet. Betts is plus 900. Max Muncy is plus 1,000. Stanton's not a bad play, to be quite honest. But the way Soto's locked in, Stanton's locked in. See, Judge needs to exercise his playoff demons, right? That heart of that lineup, that mean they can't go 1 of 23. They can't. And Judge can't have a series where he's batting 118, or they're going to start to call him, Mr. May, Dave Winfield, because he would only be able to perform in May. Obviously, when he was with the Yankees, they gave him a ton of money. Here we go. Never panned out. Finally won with Toronto late in his career. But Aaron Judge can exercise a lot of demons if, in fact, he has a monster World Series. 727-858-6650. All right, so then you got the NFL. Let me go through. We'll do our picks in a couple moments, but let me just give you a couple thoughts on some of these games. Eagles are banged up. Again, man, I can't figure this team out for the life of me. I really can't. I don't know what Eagles team's going to show up. I think Cincinnati. What's that?
Neither do I.
Yeah, they're tough to figure out, right? They're a little bit of an enigma. They've got some issues in the secondary. They've got some offensive players. You know, Goddard's banged up. The line's a little banged up. This could be one of these 28-24 type of games. Who's got the ball last? But man, I'll tell you, Cincinnati has not won at home. Like, they have not won at home. And if you go back, their last game at home, they gave up 40-1 points to the Ravens. They had no business losing that game. I do like Cincinnati in this spot, laying the 2.5. Now, I'll give you a surprise game, but it's not part of my picks. Cleveland's going to Jameis Winston. You know, 9's a tricky number. They're laying 8.5 Baltimore. I actually think Cleveland covers, and it's not so much that Winston's playing. I just think that's a big number. AFC North, you know, divisional rivals. The Ravens have kind of been feeling themselves, right? They were 0-2. Everyone's like, oh my God, panic time. They ripped off 5 straight. Lamar Jackson, front runner for MVP. Here's another thing to look at this weekend. You've got 2 quarterbacks right now that are playing at such an extremely high level. One of them's Lamar Jackson, and the other is Jared Goff. Detroit's laying 11 at home against the Titans. They are playing. Jared Goff right now is probably playing the best football of his career.
Mm-hmm.
And you're talking about 2 of these players when we get into NFL odds for MVP. Right now, you take a flyer on either one of them. I mean, either one of them. I think Lamar Jackson, because of that 5 touchdown performance. See, I'm not even putting Patrick Mahomes right now in the conversation, right? I believe it's Lamar Jackson, Jared Goff. If the Lions say we're to get home field advantage, and he continues, if he puts up, 33 touchdowns, 7 picks, 4,500 yards, and they go 13-4, I mean, they were my play last year to get to the Super Bowl, if you remember, and I had Goff for MVP. Maybe I was a year off. It's between him and Lamar Jackson, but it brings up a really interesting question. And I mentioned this, I think, 3 weeks ago. Sam Darnold, Baker Mayfield, Jared Goff. All 3 quarterbacks were pretty much written off, were they not?
Yeah.
Like Mayfield, he had the big win against Pittsburgh when he was at Cleveland, and then boom, had the injuries, released. Here we go, jumped around, Carolina, the Rams, cup of coffee. Now he's finding home in Tampa Bay. Sam Darnold, I mean, hell, that kid was, run through the ringer with the Jets. Injuries to mono, and then shipped off Carolina. San Francisco wanted to sign him. And then he goes to Minnesota, and you're thinking, he's going to be a backup. Rookie quarterback goes down. Darnold gets thrust into the starting role, and he's played relatively well. And then you have Jared Goff. And Jared Goff, if you think about his career, it's crazy. Because years ago was, oh man, they don't want him to throw the football. They don't have confidence in him. We're not going to let him throw the football. He put up some decent numbers. But now with Detroit, he's just 3 straight years of over 4,000 yards. I mean, if Jared Goff wins a Super Bowl, the perception, the narrative of Jared Goff changes dramatically. It changes dramatically. But that's life in the NFL. You've got several quarterbacks that we're looking at saying these guys are cast-offs, and they found a home, and they're playing at a really high level. Right now, I believe Jared Goff and Lamar Jackson are playing the quarterback position, the best. I do. And this is not an indictment on Patrick Mahomes. I just think Patrick Mahomes, he's trying to do everything by himself. And I think it's going to, I think eventually what's going to happen is Kansas City is going to come down to earth a little bit, right? Because they are they're a walking wounded team right now, and you can't expect that quarterback every single solitary week to go out and put up the type of numbers that he is. And quite frankly, their offense is not it just hasn't been a juggernaut. So that's just my thought.
Yeah, no, it hasn't been, but yet somehow or another, Patrick Mahomes seems to find a way to magically win. I mean, we see it. Even Eagles, okay, busted up, I get it, whatever. And then this week we'll see it's a tale of two tales when it comes to Nick Sirianni, which I'm beyond tired of him anyways. But somehow or another, Kansas City finds ways to win, even with a busted up lineup. Somehow or another. And I know you're right, because he can only do it but for so long. But there was also talk, which is kind of funny too, with Matthew Stafford possibly being traded by the trade deadline. And now you have a game like they did yesterday. Granted, it's only one game. They're starting to get their guys back. But then does that also change the Matthew Stafford narrative as well? I mean, he's already won one.
Yeah.
But, and not saying that the Rams, by any means, I'm not saying they're winning
I think he's a Hall of Fame quarterback. Yeah, I think Stafford's a Hall of Fame quarterback. I do. Yeah. You don't think so?
Yeah, I'm on the fence. I don't
really?
I'm not sold yet completely that he is, but I'm kind of on the fence on that one.
Well, I mean, they sold their soul to win a championship, right?
They did.
Yeah, his numbers are ridiculous, Angel. I mean, he's thrown for close to 60,000 yards. I mean, that's plus, again, you win a Super Bowl, right? I mean, there's something to be said when you put up those numbers.
Yeah.
Consistent, right? The game has changed. We know that. Guys are throwing for 4,000 yards like that, but he's thrown for 5,000 yards. He's a prolific passer. Jared Goff is starting to be that guy that maybe the Rams, they see in Stafford that they wanted in Jared Goff, but that's the way the NFL is. Listen, if you put up those types of numbers consistently and you win, or you're talked about being top 10 quarterback every single solitary season, and then you win a championship, you're getting in. Phillip Rivers never won anything. Phillip Rivers is a Hall of Fame quarterback. You can't say he's not. He's a Hall of Fame quarterback.
I know he is, but you're right. He didn't win anything, but you're absolutely right.
But that's not fair.
I know. No, it's not.
Like judging these guys if they don't have a ring, the ring only adds to the resume and the legacy, is my thought. So
yeah, the same way, I don't believe that number 5 will always love you should be a Hall of Famer, but he's probably gonna be.
McNabb, Angel, stop it. You know how McNabb in the Hall of Fame? That's if he goes and visits.
What? No, that's what I'm thinking too. I'm not saying that he is. I'm not rooting for him to be in there, but. As you know, what's that show?
Donovan McNabb is not a Hall of Fame quarterback. Stop. Don't get me aggravated on a friggin' Friday. He's not a Hall of Fame quarterback, period. He's not. McNabb was a good quarterback. I'm done with him on a Friday.
But he paid $1.99.
That's true. All right, quick timeout. We'll do the picks on the other side.
Hey, Dad, your prescription will be ready in just a minute. Hey, Dad, your laundry will be ready in just a minute. Dad, your lunch will be ready in just a minute.
Hey, honey, why don't you take a minute?
When you help care for a loved one, you give them as much time as you can, making sure they're safe and comfortable. But it's just as important that you take some time for yourself. At AARP, we can help with information and useful tips on how you can maintain a healthy life balance, care for your own physical and mental well-being, and manage the challenges of caring for a loved one. Because the better care you take of yourself, the better care you can provide for your loved one.
Thanks, Dad.
Thank you.
You're there for them. We're here for you. Find free care guides to support you and your loved one at aarp.org/caregiving. That's aarp.org/caregiving. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
All right, class, let's hear what everyone did this weekend. Jill?
Well, I raised my older sister to a big oak tree. It was at least 100 years old. My mom said I must have set a record or something. And then we went down by a stream and perched up on this huge rock and saw all of these little minnows swimming around way below us. And then I rescued my little brother from an evil slug king who was guarding him at the bush fortress. And my sister and I brought him back to our super twig fort for safety. And then we all laid out and told stories until it got dark. And the Big Dipper led us all the way home.
Wow. Awesome. Where were you, Jill?
Yeah. We went to the forest. It's not that far away. Anyone want to come this weekend?
Ask your parents to take you and your friends to the forest this week and find the fun, adventurous you. It's closer than you think. Check out discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
Download the Sports Radio 102.9 FM The Game app and tell your friends that Florida has a new leader in digital sports radio.
All right, what the frig? Friday edition of the Drive with Q. Rich Units here. Martinez behind the glass is we get set for Q's picks from our good friends over at Fresh Roasted Coffee in the show notes below on the YouTube channel from our wonderful segment of Back Your Play, BYP20. That'll save you 20% off your first purchase of Fresh Roasted Coffee, the official coffee of the Drive with Q, along with Back Your Play, Double Jab Boxing Podcast, and any other content I might throw up on the YouTube channel. All right, so here we go. A week 8 in the NFL, in a league where the players always back their play. The NFL film music? We're going CBS. All right, whatever. All right. Game number 1. Hello, everyone. Again, I'm Iron Eagle. We'll go with game number 1. No. Did you pause it?
No.
Oh, you lowered it. All right.
Yeah.
Sometimes I drown it. I get used to hearing it in my ear or my headset, which is not on my ears. I mentioned Cincinnati at home, looking for their first win of the season at home. Again, laying a 47.5 is the total. I do like Cincinnati with the field goal. The hook, I would have been a little hesitant, but I think it's going to be a 28-24 type of game. Game number 2, the return of Tua, Miami and Arizona. Nothing about this game I like, except I believe there's going to be some points. The total is 46.5. Give me the over in this one. Game number 3, Green Bay laying 4. A lot of people think you're going to buy back a little bit with the Packers. Jacksonville feeling pretty good. All of a sudden, boom, getting a win, but I still like Green Bay laying the 4 in this one. I just think offensively, Jacksonville's not going to match them. The Bills on the road against Seattle. Here's an interesting spot, right? Because we know Seattle is such a tough place to play in, but the Bills now are starting to find a little bit of their juju, a little bit of their juice. And again, I like where this number sits in -3. I think Buffalo is at least 7 to 10 points better. I can see this being a game where Geno Smith has a couple turnovers. Give me the Bills on the road. And then the final game, the 49ers. The 49ers need to save their season. They're a banged-up team, 4.5. Dallas, the Cowboys team is off. They just got absolutely exposed back. 30 doesn't all over. 49ers on the ball. I can actually run it away. So I'm going to be a little ambitious, and I'm going to. We'll get on the same page with the music eventually, and me talking. I'm going to be a little ambitious and confident. I'm laying the 4.5. I like San Francisco over the Dallas Cowboys. The 49ers are playing for their season, and they're a banged up team, and they're playing for their season. And now I'm starting to get the more desperate team will win. And I think that's going to be the 49ers. What are we getting? You guys are testing my movie knowledge on a friggin' What the Frig Football Friday. You don't want to do that because you guys know that we know I'm the king of the movie trivia. Look at these lines kind of coming. Let's see. One thought he was invincible. The other thought he could fly. I mean, we know what that is. That's a Steven Seagal movie. You kidding me? Out for Justice. Out for Justice or Above the Law? Hold on a second. Out for Justice. No. It was Above the Law. No, hold on a second. It wasn't. Wait, it wasn't. It wasn't Hard to Kill. It was the one. Wait, Hard to Kill is when they stuck him in the coma, but he awoke him, and then he was clean shaven. Hold on, Marked for Death. Marked for Death. Marked for Death, because that's when you had the Rastasta, the twins. Remember that? You don't remember that? What was that guy's name? The villain. Screwface. You remember?
See?
Yeah, Screwface. And that's when he threw him off the window, and then threw him off the ledge, and then he came in the car, and then he was with what's his name? David Keith. And he goes, well, and that's when he turned around and he said, well, one thought he was invincible, the other thought he was fly. And then boom. No way, Stump. Get the hell out of here. Marked for Death. I don't even know what the hell you're talking about. By the way, my What the Frig Friday story, as we kind of close out. Oh, I know some of you guys are asking thoughts on the Giants. That's a Monday night game. We'll talk about that on Monday. I don't even want to deal with the Giants this weekend. And by the way, can we give you the... hold on a second now. Angel knows exactly where I'm going. He knows exactly what I'm looking at. Sunday's weather. Ooh, sun and 62. So how about this for our...
Delco representing.
Yeah, well, this is what we have to do. Can I tell you the What the Frig Friday story is? Did you hear about the girl that had a fans only account? And she recently retired. Do you know how much money she made? Fans only in 3 years.
Wait, I wonder if this is the same one that she... Let me think. Because there was one. One did like farming things. And really didn't do...
I don't even want to entertain that. This is a family show, but go ahead.
No, it is. No, but I'm saying one did a farming thing. Because, no, so what ended up happening was she said something about like how it was like it was the polar opposite. She was saying, how in the world could these women go out there and do all this stuff on OnlyFans when you really don't have to do that stuff? And then you watch what people end up doing. So basically she got called out for it. So she was literally just doing farming things like, on the tractor, using the tools to whatever you do on the farm, like regular Joe Schmo farm stuff. And she, in her first year, ended up making over $1 million. Just doing, milking the cow.
Okay, that's nothing. She can stay on the friggin' farm and she can milk cows. You know why?
Why? Because
this young lady just retired at the age of 28 after earning $67 million in just 3 years. Karina Koff has decided to call it quits. That is GOAT status. That's a what the frig kind of a GOAT status. 3 years. Fans only. I mean, you have to just use your imagination. I don't know. I'm hoping no farm animals were harmed in this video. I don't know. It's fans only fans. Pardon me, only fans. Yeah. Yep. Started to post on OnlyFans after demand from certain fans, making an obscene amount of money in the process before calling it quits.
And what's her name?
Is she British? No, she's American. She's from Chicago. No, wait. I'm sorry. Hold on. I'm all over the friggin'. What is this, Fox News? She looks British. And her name sounds British.
But would you say it was Karina?
Karina, Corinna K
POF?
KOPF. There you go. $67. Wow.
7 million followers on Instagram.
Wow. She made $1 million in just 48 hours after she announced that she was opening an account on the site. That's not bad. I'm not mad at you. 67 million.
Unstinking believable.
Yeah. Just got to be smart with that money now. I mean, she can take a nice little hiatus, travel the world, and then come back in 2 or 3 years and still have about 67 million. So.
Unbelievable. She Barstool's put something up there.
She's a good-looking girl. I mean, she's very good-looking. She's extremely attractive.
Who she reminds me of? What's her name? What was the one with the it was like they pretend to be mom and daughter. I think it was a CBS show.
Mom and daughter.
Oh crap! And damn it!
I don't know where this is going. Mom and daughter. It was a CBS show.
Yeah.
I'm glad to see you guys have verified her looks on Google. Thank you. That means everything to me on a freaking Friday. Jackasses. The ball breaking on a Friday is another level. Kevin in North Jersey chiming in. Q, yes. She definitely is worth every penny. Well, $67 million. I mean, you know. You still can't figure out what show you were talking about.
Was it Mom?
The show Mom?
All right, I'm checking.
Show you're talking about?
Yeah. Because so Jamie Priestley.
Jamie Is it Presley or Priestley? No, she doesn't look like her. She looks like no.
You don't think?
Well,
there's a little resemblance.
Yeah. She looks like the one that's in Wolf of Wall Street.
No. Ex-Madman. Be the judge and jury here. Does she or does she have a little resemblance to Jamie Priestley?
What about Margaret Robbie?
Yeah, little, but not. I don't think not as much as Jamie.
In
my opinion.
Yeah, listen, that's not a bad pull. I'll give you that. 67 million though. That's the number we should be concerned with.
See, thank you.
I mean, yeah, because you're pulling the comments up. You have control of the comments, so of course they're going to friggin' agree with you. Start disagreeing. You're not going to put the comments up. I got people hitting me up the other day saying they couldn't get through. They couldn't get through with the comments the other day. Angel controls the means.
That's not true because the other day people called me out for not having what on the app and what's back on the app. Yet no one's made a comment.
What?
People complained the other day.
About what on the app?
About you not being on the app. Being your
They
show.
should complain. They know.
Okay. Well, it's back up there today. I don't hear anything. So when you're saying that when they put the comments out there the other day, I threw it up there. So yes, I threw up there. Jamie Priestley, he says, slept with her stepbrother. Oh yeah, Joe Dirt.
In what? Joe Dirt?
You don't remember that?
Isn't that the movie with was that David Spade?
Yeah. Joe Dirt.
Joe Dirt. I have to figure out what movies I need. Well, I can't. I mean, tomorrow I get the fights, and then tonight's game 1. And I don't. Again.
What?
I don't, because I know right away. I am watching game 1 of the World Series. Don't even try that friggin' nonsense saying I'm going to be watching the Lincoln Lawyer. I'm going to be flipping through,
No, listen, I'll watch it. It's World Series. There's no freaking way in the world you couldn't even do that.
Yankees in 6. My unofficial official prediction, Yankees in 6.
That's not bad.
Yankees in 6.
Okay, if Yankees don't win tonight, like everybody's saying, they win game 2. They have to obviously split the series one way or the other. I mean, it'd be good to obviously go 2-0, but you want to definitely split the series before going back to LA.
That's the problem. You have to see how it shakes out. If they lose tonight, I think they lose the series. So yeah, they have to win tonight.
Okay.
You're asking me. I'm telling you.
All right. X-Man says Dodgers in 5.
No, that's not.
I don't think that one. There's no way. But it'd be a good call though. Market, what is it?
He's probably a Red. He's probably a Red Sox fan. That's why. Friggin'
from Delco.
Bunch of rats in Boston. You never know. They just want to hate on the Yankees. The Bunker Boy was nowhere to be found on a Friday. I'm a little surprised here. Maybe bad reception where they are.
I don't know.
Usually the Eagles fans, they like to roll out a little bit on a Friday.
Yep, exactly. Not even not Bland show? Not even those guys showed up today.
Do you watch Tulsa King?
Not yet.
All right, you got to watch Tulsa King, and you have to watch The Old Man.
What's The Old Man?
It was a show recommended by a former friend of mine.
All right.
No, I'm just messing with you.
Gotcha.
Oh, man. You got two hands. You got two pockets. And in those pockets, you put your hands in there and then boom. A Dog from Mount Laurel. We got to figure out where Dog from Mount Laurel is.
Yeah, that's true too.
He was a very good radio caller over the years.
Also pays attention. That's what X-Man Man's going to have to be. He's going to have to be Delco. By the way, just out of curiosity, X-Man Man, I'm pretty sure that handle you have on YouTube is not the same one on X.
Oh, we don't know.
Just wondering.
Listen, we'll say this. By the way, new episode of BYP dropped. Just back your play. I'm just letting you know. So we went through the gamut of the Week 8 lines powered by fresh roasted coffee. All right. Got to start wrapping it up. Just paying per comment today. Jesus, Mary. Do you have anything? What do you have cooking this weekend?
This weekend, we're trying to figure out, at least tomorrow, where to throw the kayaks in the water, because obviously the beaches are still closed as they're cleaning them, sanitizing them, make sure the water is tested before anybody gets back in. So we're trying to figure out, either do we have just a waltz day around Tampa, or taking out the kayaks, because then tip-off for basketball season for USF starts up next week. Crazy to say, though, I can't believe that Coach Raheem passed away yesterday on a regular medical procedure. But so it's going to be this team was hyped for the 2025-2024 season, and so now they got to figure out what to do from that point. I mean, just
very young, 42 years old.
43 years old.
Yeah, that's and I'm not going to say what's funny, but also Big Mike Richmond, who is part of this area, did some work in the G League, and I used to run into him doing some boxing events in Delaware and around the area. He was a big hoops guy. He just passed away as well, which is really, really sad. I mean, so just young, 40s. I mean, it's just. And you feel bad for those, obviously family and friends and those kids, right? I mean, you lose your coach like that, and you got to figure out a way to just kind of, keep going and whatnot. Because, you're talking 18, 19-year-old, 17, 18, 19-year-old kids, Yeah, he was definitely a rising star when it came to coaching. They didn't give any more information on that, did they?
No, other than they said it was some sort of complication from it. So, but it was apparently from the only other thing he may have added today was from and some sort of illness that he was dealing with or something else like that. So, who knows? Listen, a friend of mine, God, it's been, I think maybe 3 years now. Bill passed away 3 or 4 years. He went for one operation, turned out to be successful, but then he was retaining water. Like it basically they weren't able to find a way to drain it. So they were like, all right, you're going to have to come back to, thank you, X-Man Man. What you call it? So he went back to the hospital. As he was heading back to the hospital, he shoots me a text. This is while I was still back home in Philly and working for SEPTA, because he used to work for him as well until they got sick. But he was like, all right, man, this is my last one. It was good knowing you. Hopefully we'll catch you on the other side. I'm like, dude, what are you talking about? Goonies never die. Sure shit. Somehow or another he knew. He friggin' passed away on the operating table.
Yeah, that's horrible. You hate hearing stuff like that. Especially like I said, just going, having a routine surgery or routine a checkup or just, oh man, it's. We had a buddy that passed fairly young too. It wakes you up. It really does. And it's just, it also puts things in perspective that life is extremely, extremely short, which is why if you want to watch movies instead of a football game on Thursday night, you should. That's all I'm going to say. So, all right, got to start wrapping it up. Yeah, I mean, we have to end, we have those raw conversations, but we don't like to end the show on a sad note, right? We have to mock each other, right? I mean, so I'll tell you what was on the other day.
Yeah.
My cousin Vinny.
I don't care how many times we flip through the channels. If it's on, we stop, we watch.
Do you know what the best line? There's a lot of great lines in that movie, but the one that always makes me laugh, I mean, you would probably know which line it is.
Crap. Hold on. Because there's a bunch of them. When he tells your honor, when he puts up the two fingers, let the
with the two Utes? No,
not the two Utes. When he has the lady with the glasses and he
he
calls it out
and only that's not a bad line. Two Utes is not a bad line. I wore a suit. You seen it? That's not a bad line.
Was it when he went to the jail cell and damn it?
I really laughed my ass off when he brings all the stuff back and Marissa Tomei is reading and he tells her that he got all the information and she's like, do you want to know why? It's called disclosure, you dickhead. By law, he has to give you that information. Where'd you read all that stuff about Lisa Mona Lisa? Where'd you read all that stuff about disclosure?
Nobody tells she also reminds him, but it's Lisa, what's going on? Well, if you want to know.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And then what do you think you're Bambi and you're sitting there and all of a sudden, bam, somebody blows your effing brains out.
Let me ask you a question. Do you think a fucking deer gives a fuck about
what Oh man, some good movies. All right. Picks will be out. They'll be on X. They'll be on the YouTube channel as well. Good stuff with the comments as always. Honey, where is my super son? What is it? The Incredibles? I never saw
The Incredibles. You never watched it?
Never saw The Incredibles.
And Samuel L. Jackson yells out, honey, where's my super suit? Yeah.
No, I don't. Is there a movie he's not in?
After the appearance he just made on one particular stage, you may not have more.
You might be right on that one. All right. Don't forget, download the app. Pete will be back in the saddle next week, I believe, Monday to Friday, 7 to 10. Martinez and Company, 10 to 12. Yep. Myself, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 4 to 6, The Drive with Q. You got all the other shows as well. Keep it locked in. Download the app, SR 1029 FM. The Game. Appreciate everyone tuning in as you guys typically do. The comments and the banter, we greatly appreciate it. Also, subscribe to Broad Street South LLC, the YouTube channel, myself, Rich Q on Q. Give us a follow on X, on Facebook, on IG, X, Twitter, whatever you want to call it. And you guys have a good sports weekend. Enjoy World Series game 1 tonight, the Dodgers and the Yankees. NFL, college football. We'll recap everything Monday, and we'll get into the Monday night game as well. My piss poor Giants, see if they can actually get a win. 6-point dogs against Pittsburgh. So we'll recap all the NFL action. Lloyd Vance, Jonathan Marshall, Costco next week, Steve Gardner on baseball, and of course you guys out there. As always, Angel Martinez behind the glass, producing Joe, keeping us on the air. Have a good sports Friday. Enjoy your sports weekend. Be safe, be sound. We will talk to you Monday. Hasta luego, buen día.